Okay, so I've watched all four episodes of How to Die Alone. I did a video before this one about the premiere, which didn't leave me with a lot of good feelings. Then I've watched all four episodes. I say that this show's imagination is limited by the fact that Mel is fat and over 30 and single. This show's imagination is limited by the Hollywood tropes. So Mel has a near death experience and then decides to change her life. Inward only, mostly. The thing they seem to think is the most interesting about her is this relation, the feelings that she has for her ex, Alex. That is not what's interesting about Mel. What's interesting about Mel is that she is a criminal. She stole a dead woman's identity to buy a plane ticket to Hawaii to go to a wedding. She stole her brother's social security to add him as a co-signer without his permission to help pay her medical bills. She stole a ham worth thousands of dollars from Customs and Border Patrol. I don't know if she got caught for that. She'd probably pay a fine. I looked up to see what happens if you steal food from Border Patrol, but I guess the idea is so ridiculous that there's nothing online. So she's done that. She's stolen two identities. One ham worth thousands of dollars from the government. And then she slept with her. She's in a training about to become a manager. That day they talk about sexual harassment. She decides that same day, I think, either way, she sleeps with her coworker because she got in her feelings about her ex's wedding. That's not a crime, but that is a choice. Those things about Mel are interesting. She is living. That's the thing. Like, she's doing things. First of all, the crimes I mentioned, she's committing them without even blinking. Right? It's nothing to her. She's living. But the show is telling me she's not living because she's afraid of flying and is single. I'm not connecting with this. The Mel who commits crimes is so much more interesting than the Mel who's weird about her ex. Also, there's a line in one of the episodes, it might have been episode 3, where she says to Alex, when Alex says that, like, we're in a relationship, I'm gonna tell HR about us because it's been 3 months, whatever. And she says, I'm just here because you're around and you'll touch me. That is intense. I love that line. It is super intense. But then we cut to her talking to Rory, and she's like, I cut it off because I'm scared that if he knew, once he saw the real me, he'd realize he made a mistake. Again, that's intense, that's powerful, cool. But also, what are you talking about? Who is the real Mel? Because up to this point, all in all, but the real Mel is that she has a lot of credit card debt and she makes bad decisions because she's super self-centered and she wants like immediate gratification. That's why she didn't want to go for the manager course. She just wanted to do whatever, be a leaf on the wind. Cool. But like, the show keeps in the 4 episodes, it drops these things. Like that line alone, like I'm here because you're around and you'll touch me, again because she's fat. Because there's another line in another episode where she says that, like, guys see right through me. I'm like cilantro to them because she's fat. But like, that's a powerful line about, like, I'm here because you're around and you'll touch me. That's worth taking up all 4 episodes. But instead they drop it in a flashback, explain it in the next scene in the flashback, and then just like kind of move on. The great Mel and Rory fight of 2024. That is the most intense fight I've ever seen, like the wildest fight I've ever seen. The things they said to each other, but it's also like, again, Rory says that he's tired of pretending that he doesn't have a social life so that he can like spare Mel from her loneliness or whatever. But it's like, you established beforehand that he's always abandoning her. So how is he pretending that he doesn't have a social life? Because I guess because we're supposed to extrapolate that when he abandons her prior, like, he lies, just like he lied about Bi-Coastal Bay, because he said he had a fundraiser, but really he went on a date. And so, like we were dropped into the middle of this, but in a bad way. So he says that to her. He says he's tired of being her only friend, but the show very quickly gives her like tells us her and Tamika like it's not set up well. Like there are, and it's not being executed well either. Like there are gems in the show, but I don't like the focus on her love life and her damn ex. I am for her and T. I've been for her and T since episode 1. And when he went over to her with that bag of chips, I was like, he's gonna let her get some chips. And he let her get some chips and he didn't have a problem with it. Cute. But yeah, Bessie Coleman, something about Bessie Coleman popped up. The show keeps, every episode, they drop something about flying to remind us of what this is about. And then we end episode 4 with a cliffhanger because her brother's on a dating app because he's married. But we already know he's cheating on his wife. I think that was episode 1 or whatever because we saw him on a date with a black woman. And later on, we found out he's married to a white woman. And then the description for episode 5 says that Mel goes to Thanksgiving with her family and is going to try to convince them that she turned over a new leaf. How? Because she's in this damn training. I really think they should have done the trope that's often associated with near-death experiences in books and in movies and given her a list. Because the whole like Hawaii thing is too far away to have any real impact on her. She tells T that she's trying to turn over a new leaf, but like it's hard because she slept with her coworker. That's a choice that you made because you wanted to soothe your hurt. But when she finds out he's married, she immediately victimizes herself and asks him to explain what happened to her. She's like, why me? I don't know. This show is disconnected for me. Mel is a criminal. She does these wild things, but somehow they are exclusive, like mutually, like separate from her wanting to like live life. And it's just a mess. Speaking of, they love to say messy, a mess. Rory is an asshole. Asking Mel to not take up the manager training because he doesn't want his dad to think better of her than of him. That is wild. And then Mel agreed because she has a toxic sense of what loyalty is. That's interesting. And that is interesting on Rory's part. But like the show, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I also wish they would use the airport more. Like that is so rich. Like all the people that come through, the mess, the stuff you could concoct, and like they get into it a little bit, like with the lost child, but it's not like I wish it was more of the forefront. I actually wish the episodes were focused on airport hijinks, and then we could learn about Mel through how she goes about dealing with the airport hijinks with her coworkers, instead of this thing where like instead of what they've chosen. So in terms of the rest of it, like it's only 4 more episodes. I'm not gonna hurry to come back when the next episodes drop because 4 episodes in, I don't think the show's gonna save itself. I am a little bit curious about, like, I wish the thing we had to contend with is like, is Mel gonna like go to jail and get caught because of her crimes? But it's like, is she gonna get with Alex? Or maybe T? Maybe T's gonna enter the chat. Maybe she'll realize she needs to move on from Alex. But yeah, whatever. Alex, I think he's terrible. Like I said, I'm not in the mood for that type of storyline.